Hello, search friends. We are live. Dun, 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 dun.
Are we live?
I believe we video not live.
All right, let me look it up.
Kpro cow, pow wow wow, it's the Kpro cow, pow wow wow. They wanna find the treasure, they wanna find it now. They are Kpro and they are cow. They're going over it and over it and over it again. This treasure hunt created by Forrest Fenn. Sing it! Kpro cow, pow wow. Kpro cow, pow wow wow. It's the Kpro cow, pow wow. Marion and Indy are what they are like.
Are we live? I don't see it. Are we?
Oh, we're live.
I saw it.
All right.
They just might tune in.
And I sent it to Forrest.
Monday night. Kpro cow,
Oh, they're saying no audio.
Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me?
They're saying not hearing the music.
Yeah, and they might not. That's fine.
Okay.
They may not. But
Can
they
you?
Can they hear this audio of us talking?
Hey guys, can you actually hear the three of us talking? Audio is great. It's low. Oh Jesus, it's low.
Yeah.
Well,
Unless you want me to go live, we switch it. It's up to you. Just jump the gun. That's up to you. It is low though. I listened to some of the other ones.
whatever you want to do, Michael. I really have done great tonight.
I know. I didn't think I was going to be able to go live, everybody. That's why we're a little discombobulated. But thank you to Cynthia Meacham for being on. It's up to you if you want to switch. Just go with what it is.
Don't care. Sorry,
Let's
don't
go
care.
with what it is. We just want to have a soundboard. That's all.
Oh, I'm very disappointed in that. So here's what's happened, friends. Mike's computer blew up. There's pieces everywhere. I don't know what happened. He got mad. He took a baseball bat. He was throwing things. You know him. He's the temper one. And so he spent all day putting it together. I have been trying to figure out how to go live. And 5 minutes ago, he's like, I think I can try to do it and I'll go live too. And I had already lined up Cynthia. I'm like, I got this. So he was going to come on my stream. But, ES says he's leaving if there's no soundboard. Okay, we have a quote from Forrest Fenn. You can leave, though. That's okay, because everyone's here. So, anyway, we're trying to make it work, but it says it's low and soft. Can you guys turn up? What do you want to do, Mike? I don't care.
You have to do it in...
Oh, Mike's... Do you see him frozen up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike's frozen on mine.
That means his internet is having issues, too. Oh, Mike's so out of here. Let's see if it's on my side, though, too.
Mike's turned up as high as it goes.
Let's see what he has to say. Hello, darling.
Hey, I lost power. It just came back on. Everything went black. So
Okay.
Give me a minute to get back.
Okay, bye. So he didn't lose his internet. He lost all power. So,
Oh my God.
so we are going to just keep going tonight because we have so much happening. So hello everyone. I'm a little off tonight since I am basically the command center. My son has taken this. This is the other chair that's usually here. So my cat is down here. He's gaming now. I'm not real happy about it. I have a presentation. I'm going to try to put it up in a minute. But hello, Cynthia Meacham.
Hi, Christy. How are you?
I'm good. I made it out one time. I won't say for what.
I'm not drinking tonight. This is water.
Oh, I have one of those too. Well, I'm glad you're here. I called Cynthia in a pinch and said, hey, what do you think? Can you go on? Because we're going to talk about tonight what happens right before you find the treasure chest, then you find the treasure chest. But we do have some breaking news. Because Forrest Fenn wanted to give a little input on some things that were happening. And so we're going to do that. So here is what I'm going to do. Let's see if everybody can see this. I need to go from beginning. Can you see that, Cynthia?
Apparently not. I see you.
Alrighty. How about, can you see now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, let's do here. Can you see the, oh crap, I don't want that.
There. I see that.
Okay, that's going to have to be good enough. Let's make that really small so nobody can see it. Okay, I don't have the full version on this computer. No, I need no soundboard. Ask Cynthia to move her mic a little closer. Her volume is a little low compared to yours. So Cynthia, yell, scream. You know, it's kind of like on Fremont Street that one night.
I generally do scream.
Okay, so I'll go back and forth and hopefully, well, let's see if you all can see this. Yes, you can. Okay, we ready to dive in, Cynthia?
I'm always ready to dive.
Okay, she's deep diving. Here we go. So we're going to talk about finding the treasure chest before and after, but I want to first give a quote from Forrest, never heard before, tonight. I need volume Kpro. Oh, goodness gracious. Guys, you're going to have to roll with it tonight with me. Turn up your volume. I will try to yell. I don't know what else to do. Everybody turn their volume up. Hold on one second. He is not back up internet. Okay, so here is a new quote by Forrest Fenn. Never heard before. Should be up on Dale soon. Don't become treasure blind. If snow is in your search area, or if you have to pass through snow or ice to get there, don't go. Snow is always off limits, no matter where it is. Wait until summer. Let me pull that over. Cynthia, let's tee this up a little bit. We had a search team that one of them passed due to exposure over the weekend or the last week. The other gentleman is in ICU intensive care due to exposure. I do not know if he's going to make it. Shadowcaster, I want to give a shout out to because he's been the one interfacing the most with the family. I've had a little bit of interaction. First, we want to say how sorry we are that and our prayers are with them. But we also need to talk about the community in general. So I want to thank Forrest for putting something out very quickly. So I think that's pretty clear. What do you think? I mean, I know he also, Forrest told me, he thinks this is tragic. He is, I mean, his heart is just, it's very sad. But he wants to put something out so the search community knows, don't go out right now. Even though he said something like it can be found any time of year if you know exactly where. If it's in snow, it's off limits to Forrest. You're going against Forrest's wishes with this quote. What do you think, Cynthia?
Yeah, the original quote that you just touched on was posted in Jenny Kyle's Weekly Words back on December 11th, 2015. And at that time, the quote was, if you know precisely where it is, you can probably retrieve it in any weather. That's weather, not any season. And I think people have misinterpreted that to where they believe Forrest meant in any season. Forrest almost every year has come out with his winter warning, and in those winter warnings, at least for the last, I don't know, probably at least 3 years, if not more, he has said, do not treasure hunt in the wintertime, do not go into the mountains if there's snow. So unfortunately, not everyone heeded those words, and there was a tragedy just lately. So I'm real happy that Forrest was able to reach out with some new words, and hopefully everyone will heed the new words.
Yeah, like we went back and forth about, you know, when he put out the words, it, you know, he says it's not dangerous. Don't go where a 79-year-old or 80-year-old man won't go. But when he said it is not in water, people stopped getting in water. So we corresponded a little bit about if he says something like specifically, do not go with snow. I know he said it. I feel like this is Dad saying, stop it. Like, and we're not blaming anyone. This is not to the people that have just gotten injured and died, because again, our hearts are with them. But I think Forrest is, so let me give you the quote again so you guys all know and see what we're talking about. Don't become treasure blind. If snow is in your search area, or if you have to pass through snow or ice to get there, don't go. Snow is always off limits no matter where it is. Wait until summer. So I don't think he can get much more clear. So yeah, I mean, it's sad that I think he has to get to the point, but we were talking a little bit about this. I think we're going to see a unique search season. We have a season where coronavirus has changed everything. We're having cabin fever. You get cabin fever if you're home for a week, I think. I mean, but some of it, like literally, I left the house for a half an hour, and that was a big deal. And they're getting ready to, I think, shut down our city. They're shutting down cities. They're blocking off cities to say other people can't come in because there's no virus in their city yet. I think we're going to see some people with cabin fever go out earlier than they should. I hope this makes them say, wait, hold on a second. Let me listen to Forrest. Yeah.
So Christy, I don't know how much you want to expound or give any details about this latest tragedy, but correct me if I'm wrong. Both of these fellows, didn't they actually go into the mountains using snowmobiles? And it's not like they had just parked their car along a road and they just walked 100 yards through snow,
right,
on snowshoes. These, as far as I know, these people actually went pretty remotely in, and they actually were on snowmobiles. So
right, and it sounds like they were out maybe 3-4 weeks ago, and they were actually rescued at that time, because it sounds like, and I don't know this for a fact, it sounds like they're a little bit like me. They were flatlanders, and they didn't know exactly what they were in for. So they were saved by emergency personnel that are risking their life when they do that. And so they were saved a few weeks ago, and then they went out back again. It has not been reported in the press yet that these are searchers. They just were exactly what Redneck Express said, inexperienced snowmobile people. And so, but there is a person that was on Facebook, has all the notes of where they were searching, why they were searching. It was Dinosaur Monument in Colorado. And so that person went on the Facebook pages. Actually, the admins deleted it because they weren't sure if this was kind of a hoax or not. Shadow did a really good job and really kindly reached out to the person that was associated with this group or this duo, and got some details. We've all been in contact with Forrest now. Dale will have the official, so it's archived up on his site, but he wanted to get this out pretty quickly. So I wanted to say thank you to Forrest. And again, I think the most important thing, some people are saying things like, stupid, this and that. I don't think they were as mindful as they should be, but really understand someone just lost their dad or their brother or their son or someone. So try to be as respectful. But yes, inexperienced snowmobilers, I guess they didn't have anything with them. So when they did get lost or the snowmobile broke down or whatever, they didn't have water, they didn't have food, they didn't have anything to get located. And so it's a tragedy on every side. They weren't prepared. So anyway, we wanted to say how sorry we are and I have spoken to the person that had come out. And so you know who you are, and I'm sorry. And thank you for receiving my message and having some communication with me.
So what's the quote from Forrest?
The quote from Forrest.
I just lost power over here. Something's going on.
Yes, it's. I blame Forrest Fenn because you were going to give us some quote. Don't become treasure blind. If snow is in your search area, or if you have to pass through snow or ice to get there, don't go. Snow is always off limits, no matter where it is. Wait until summer.
I see what he did there, because you can be snow blind, treasure blind. Get it?
I think there's no humor in this. This is straightforward and no soundboard tonight.
If you are searching in the snow, you should have your Thrill the Chase book taken away, and you should not be allowed to search anymore, in my opinion.
Okay. So, respectfully.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
All right. Okay, so what are we going to do now? So thank you, Forrest, for your words. We haven't heard from you in maybe a week. There you have it. There it is. So thank you, Forrest. And I think, again, the words I got from him was, this is tragic. So his heart is definitely with the lost searcher. And the other gentleman that is in ICU, all indications say, and I'll more defer to Shadow if he comes in, initial indications is he probably will not make it. It's very tragic is the only word because Forrest says it perfectly. So, okay, so let's move on to, we're going to now get into finding the treasure chest before and after. Someone on Facebook asked me to do this presentation of if I, what, Mike?
Let me find it. I got to show it, right? All right, let me find it.
No, I have it in case. No, I'm driving the ship. Well, if you can, that'd be great.
I can share and show it if you want.
That would be even better because mine actually isn't an activated software, so it'd be easier if you did. But I can do it too. And
a couple of people just commented on this. Where's this at, Cynthia?
My house.
Ah,
I wish.
That
My
little
God.
restaurant in Tasuki that we were at.
I wish that was in my house.
that's where we
What's that place
prepare.
called? Tasuki Cafe or something?
It was a village market. Tasuki Village Market.
There you go.
This is where we prepared with documentary questions.
We were there for about 2 hours.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we did.
Okay. I can't turn up the volume, guys. Kpro's got to do that somehow, some way. So, sorry, everybody.
You guys were live. Be appreciative. Sorry. That's all you got. Okay, Mike, can you go to slide 3?
Oh, give me a minute.
Okay, so here's what someone asked me, and I was more than happy, and I want really now Mike and Cynthia, but really Cynthia, I talked to her today. Let's poke holes in. Everybody, I just talked with a reporter for a long time, and one of the things the reporter asked is, do you ever dream about actually finding it? And I said, yes. I've dreamt about looking down, picking it up, and being like, wahoo! I would probably cry. I'd probably scream. But then the reality of things hit. Have you prepared accordingly? What do you do? How do you get it? How do you get it to your car? How do you get it home? And then what's all the press and things afterwards? And what does that look like? So I have put together just some thoughts and ideas, but that does not mean that I'm exactly right. Of course, that means that this is truly just for some thoughts and ideas. So go 2 more, Mike.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Everything good?
Yes.
All right. It's been a hell of a 2 days, everybody. Hell of a 2 days. Okay. Finding the treasure chest before and after. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so go that one we already talked about. That was from Forrest.
Yes, and don't become. Okay. There we go. Finding Forrest Fenn Treasure. So this slide is going to tell us how to find his treasure.
Sure. Okay, so we're going to talk about before you go boots on the ground, what you need to do. Boots on the ground, getting it to your car, getting it home, notifying Forrest, the first 30 to 60 days, selling it, and the press. So this is just my thoughts. I don't know. Here we go.
Next one?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me.
Next one, honey.
Graphics, though. That's cool.
Okay.
All right.
So pre-boots on the ground. Before you go, what do you need to bring specifically? Of course, there's water, food, all of that kind of stuff. But here is and remember, I'm not a techie person. So I have a phone or a camera. Mine's a camera phone, but it's not connected to anything. That it's not connected to Wi-Fi or location services. The reason I think that's important is you're going to take tons of pictures, but you don't want all that metadata there. You don't want somebody to be able to track you later. This is a little bit of the anonymity that that some would like. Because there is going to be issues of people trying to hunt you down. I mean, we've already seen that now, let alone if somebody actually finds the treasure chest. And then, of course, gloves. That's going to be for a couple different reasons. And then a backpack, and we're going to talk both those later. You're also going to need a newspaper from that day. You're going to be taking a picture of it with the date showing and the headline showing if possible. In the following slides, we're going to talk about, I believe you need to get it home via a train station. I think you need quite a little bit of cash on you, a couple $100. I think before you go out, you need to practice on how much of a weight can you actually hold, because that's going to determine 1 trip or 2 trips. And Cynthia and I have talked about this, and I'll like her to weigh in then. And then a letter to Forrest. I think you need to do the letter beforehand. We'll talk about this. And what it needs to have in it. And then a clear agreement with search partners on the division of the treasure chest and press matters, which we'll go over all of that.
But the newspaper you can kind of do when you can kind of do it when you get it back to wherever you're going to, right?
Yeah, or just when you get there.
You mean take it with you, but leave it in the hotel room or whatever.
No, I would grab it. If I was up in Yellowstone, I'd be getting the Bozeman, Chronicle, Daily, whatever it is, and I would grab it on my way in. That's what I did when I came in.
Oh,
So,
okay. All right.
Okay. So boots on the ground. So your boots on the ground right now. You're getting pictures of everything. You should get this anyway. Cynthia, do you get pictures all along the way when you are boots on the ground of any search you're on?
Often I know that I'm probably going to either make a video or write a blog article about my search. So
Right.
yeah, I'm crazy with the pictures and the videos as I go.
Well, I couldn't believe the time.
But I have a purpose, so I don't know if everyone would do that or not.
Well, I will say, and Follow Me Down did this, when you take a lot of pictures, especially at your final location, when you get home and you go, gosh, it wasn't there, but then you start looking at the pictures, you start picking up on things that maybe you didn't at the time, and that might make you want to go back out again. So anyway, since it's a remote location, if you find it, drink some water, sit for a few minutes, and get your heart rate down. So have you thought about, Cynthia and Mike as well, have you thought about when you find the treasure chest, I'm thinking that's going to be a huge adrenaline spike. So I think you have to sit for a few minutes, and I think you should video this. I think I'm going to scream. I think I'm going to cry, and I think I'm going to dance. And I think that should all be videoed later for press reasons. But what do you see when you look down, pick it up?
You might need some toilet paper.
Oh.
There isn't any.
Yeah,
Take a towel.
Yeah, right. Tree bark, whatever. So you're saying actually videotape it while you're out there looking for the blaze. I mean, that may be hard for some people to do because they're busy. You know what I mean? They're not worried about videotaping something till they find it. But I would say maybe once you get it back to your car or you hide it wherever you're going, you could go back and videotape it then from beginning to end, clue 1 through 9.
Yeah, well, I had this debate with my search partner, my first search partner, when we were out. We took pictures all along the way because it takes 3 seconds and you're already walking, so why not just snap shots when you go? When we got to the exact spot that we thought we were going to pick it up in, that was when we didn't find it right there, so we kept circling out. That's when you can take some pictures. But I think if I found it, I would be like, oh, I would want to probably grab it and run, but that's when I would want to stop for a second, breathe, say, okay, let me get my heart rate down, let me get some water, I'm going to be packing up in a second. I wouldn't take more than 30 minutes for all this, but I probably even 10 or 15, but I would be saying, stop for a second, let me capture some moments. I think those moments are actually going to be worth the most money later when we come to the press part. So definitely take a picture. I had this debate with my search partner. He believes that when you open the box, it notifies Forrest in some way. I do not believe that. So he said, do not open the box. Just take the box, however it is, and get it out of there.
Why would you not want to notify Forrest?
Just because he was like conspiracy theorist. He doesn't want anybody to know it was him. He wouldn't want him notified until he says he's notified, that sort of thing.
I would say the very first time you open the box, whether it's, I believe it has to be in situ, right there where you find it. The first time you open it, you got to document that. You've got to have a video of how the contents were arranged.
Well, when do you do that?
Right when you opened it. What's that?
When do you do that? When would you do that?
I would do it right then when I find it. I wouldn't wait till I get back, but that's just me.
What do you think, Cynthia?
Yeah, I think it's important that that it be videoed or photographed. Whenever you look quickly down and you see it, I think right then is when that first picture should happen or the video. My problem is I almost always search alone. So it's hard if you're alone to get a video of yourself. But because like I said before, I make videos and I know I'm going to, I always have a tripod with me so I can actually do that. But I don't think you could ever reenact that again unless you're one heck of an actor. And I think part of the money is right there.
Yes.
If you can get a legitimate short video or even just still pictures of you seeing the box before you even pull it out of the hole, take the big rock slab off of it, wherever, before you actually pull it out of its spot, I think it would be really cool if you either have your partner video or photograph or you use a tripod and do it, because I just don't see reenacting that. And then the other thing, like you guys are both saying, the first time you open that lid, you got to have the person's face. I mean, I think that would be priceless right there. And I think that's if you're in this for making any kind of money at all, that would definitely be the biggest shot you could get.
Yeah, that's what we call the money shot. I agree. Well, and I actually said when my search partner said, don't open the box, we'll do that a day or two later. I actually said, are you kidding me? That's why I put it on this. Like, no, not only are we going to open it, we're going to have to open. I would actually worry I'd open it and then there's nothing in it or something crazy. So I want to know. I mean,
note that says congratulations on second place.
Or maybe it says, no, go 20 more feet down. That's where it really is. Or something crazy. There's no way I could stop myself.
Open it. Yeah, I don't understand not opening it.
And the other thing is, like, for the person that said don't open it there, what if someone actually did find it ahead of time and they filled it with 22 pounds of rocks?
Right.
Right.
So you're all excited you're going home or back to your car, and then you open it and it's filled with rocks or dirt.
Yeah, there's no way.
I think that would be a mistake not to open it right when you find it.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's boots on the ground. So let's go to the next slide because we're kind of all agreeing at that. But don't take more than 30 minutes. I would say probably 10. Your heart rate's going to spike. That's why I think you should sit down, get some water in you. I mean, cry, tell your story. I would actually be turning and just going, oh my God, capture more than less. Just leave it going and talk, just give you a stream of consciousness. That can all be photographic and video evidence later that can be used for the documentary or movie or whatever you're going to have. So, okay. So next, Michael. Okay, so getting it to your car, I've actually thought a lot about this, and Cynthia and I talked about it. So 1 trip or 2 trips. Even though I was with my search partner, he said, let's do it in 2 trips. And I said, well, then that would really be 4 trips. I thought that was crazy. For me, you're going to need to do what is safest for you. I believe I could do it, and I'm not really super fit, and I wasn't really fit at the time. I would do it in 1 trip. But the only way for you to know that is you need to get a pack and you need to be at your home before you go out. Put 40 pounds. I started with 15 pounds. I think it was 12 or 15 pounds at first. And I walked a mile. Everybody knows why I walk a mile. You can walk longer, you can walk shorter, but whatever you think that distance is. If you can get up to 40 pounds and walk it, you could definitely make it, even if you're fatigued. And the only reason I say that is with adrenaline pumping, you're going to be able to do a little bit more than that once the adrenaline is going. So I believe, though, if you are going to do it in 2 trips, you need to have, so first you need a pack that will hold the bag and the contents. Make sure it will hold the 10 by 10 by 8, I think it is. I have the Army grade Jason Dent backpack that I purchased a couple of years ago when he was selling those. It's very sturdy. It has lots of compartments. I have enough room in it that it's not a problem. I would do it in 1 trip. I'm not leaving, but if you're gonna leave the chest and bring the contents first, you need something to bring that in as well. But sturdy backpack, and the only way, there's 2 ways to get it on, in my opinion, is you can see the gentleman here. I've actually watched videos on this of if it's coming from the ground, how you do it so you don't throw your back out. The other one, I think it is in a crevice of a rock, etc. I believe you put that in a rock in a standing position and you just put it on and you don't even have to bend down and go. That's what you have to worry about with your back. So what do you guys think? And Cynthia is 1.5 feet closer to the ground than I am, so she has an advantage at this point and a lot more fit than I am.
So one of the things that I did early on, and it just so happens that I have a replica chest here on my shelf. Chrissy, I'm going to just grab this for a second.
Ooh, go big to Cynthia, Mike.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Big. I'm not big.
There you go.
Mike. Okay, so actually you can see right there, that's my replica, and it's exactly 10 by 10 by 5 inches.
10 by 10
so
by 5.
I'm not going to pick it up. You can see it.
Okay.
So one of the things I did was I made sure that the pack that I was going to carry, that I actually could fit the chest in the pack.
Yes.
And then what I was talking to Christy about earlier today is I had on my mile walk that I do every day, I actually found like a rock that I wanted to bring home from my driveway. And it was probably 20 to 22 pounds, which is the weight of the treasure inside the chest. So, or that's the weight of the chest without the treasure as well. So that actually was pretty heavy, just me carrying that in my hands the quarter or half mile till I got home. So my question to Christy was, uh, and I was asking her to ask other female searchers. I'm much shorter than Christy, so my strength is probably less than hers. Not to mention the fact that I'm old enough to be her grandmother. But a combination of my size and my age. Uh, this is mostly for women. If you go alone, are you sure that you can get that chest back? Whether you're my idea always was I dump the contents into the backpack, so that's 20 pounds into a pack, and then I actually have another bag, like a just garbage bag, that you put the chest in, and then I just carry the chest in my arms. But especially for women, if you think that you can't carry the 42 pounds back to wherever you think the chest is located to your car, do you have a plan on doing it? Either you know you can carry it, or you're going to make 2 trips if you're alone. So anyway, that's just something to consider, and I think that's a real good question that Christy brought up.
Well, and if you remember way back in the day, I couldn't make it even 100 yards. So when I made it a mile, I was like, woohoo! But then I was like, I needed to make it a mile and 20 pounds because I had a search partner. And then the next time I went, I didn't have a search partner. It was funny because I made this joke to Forrest. I said, I'm down 100 pounds in weight. So I'm actually, there won't be a problem because I'm going to put 40 pounds. I can put another 60. I used to walk around with my son because he was up to 80 pounds. And I'm like, God, I used to hold that weight on me. But I believe the only way, you might think you understand what 40 pounds is until you put it in a pack and walk around with it. Don't think you know. Really just and all I did was I had little dumbbells from when I worked out, and I would put each dumbbell in a backpack, and then I would just add more. I think it was 2 20-pounders or 2 15-pounders and 2 5, because I started with 5 pounds and I went to 15 pounds when I was working out. So that's how I did it. That's the way that I believe you can only know. So try to get a half mile out, half mile back. Can you make it? And for me, I had my back completely where I was in the hospital, completely out where they had to put shots of whatever it was to actually unseize it. So I'm actually more worried about throwing my back out than I am getting it wherever and then seizing up. And so I was actually in a location that I couldn't move. I was there. I was like, my back is seized. What do I do? That's what I'm more worried about. So not only can you make it 40 pounds, don't lift that way. You lift from your back. So, or lift from your body, not your back. Okay. So Mike, what do you think? Have you thought about this?
Yeah, there's no problem with making 2 trips. Somebody said, why don't you just drive right to it? Well, you can't. And why can't you? Because Forrest didn't. Wouldn't he have driven right to it? If he could have, he had to make 2 trips from his car, and so will you.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, are you crazy? I wouldn't. It has to be 1 trip. It hasn't been found in 10 years. For the person who finds it, now all of a sudden somebody's going to come wandering by. I mean, it's in an isolated area. It's still going to be isolated on the day that you find it, in my opinion. You know, I don't have a problem, but I would definitely take a backpack. You don't want to be walking out with it under your arm where anybody can see it, wherever the parking lot is. So you definitely want to have a bag where you can conceal it. But if you're going to, and the other thing is you got to be careful not to damage anything. I mean, if you've got all the gold and the olive jar with the biography loose in a bag or a backpack, you know what I mean? You don't want to break anything either. So you got to be careful, depending what else is in there. Maybe there's more glass in there. We don't know everything that's in there.
Well, and that's what somebody just asked about what about the weatherproofing seal? Is that weatherproofed? How's it wrapped up? I don't know. Has he ever said? Yeah. I don't think he's ever said that though. Has he, Cynthia?
No, there's numerous quotes in both print and I don't know if it's in recordings or not, where he says that it is like subject to rain and snow or something like that. So chances are, I mean, the chest itself, the outside of it's likely going to be damp. I mean, right. Anything outside is going to be damp. Yeah. So, and the other thing is, remember, it's not locked. The key's inside the box. So whenever you're removing the chest from wherever it is, be careful that you don't drop it and spill it, and all the gems go all over the ground too. And there again, have a plan for when you are taking it from the spot back to your car. Either lock it in case you do trip and fall down, or just be aware that it's not locked.
And much like Cynthia's bear spray incident, videotape this because it will become the classic in your movie later. This will be like, if you are like, I'm looking for every gem, I can't believe it. And there's like 265 gold, and you're like, 1, 2, I can't believe I did this, and it's in the water. Yeah, I can only, and then you see the bear walking up, and you're like, bear, go away. I mean, this is the class, especially if you're, this is actually where I had a dream, and I'm sorry I'm going to say this. I know I'll be sorry. I had a dream that I was William's search partner one night, or one night I had the dream, and I found it, but then we dropped it, and then all the things that William brings up in life happened, and there were people there, and there was music, and there was this and that, and I was trying to get it, and that would be the thing you want to videotape, because he would make it fun. Hopefully you're with somebody that makes it fun. Someone asked me your favorite time in the chase when I was talking to a reporter this week, and I said when my brother and I were out, and he's like, this is so fun. We never talked about it. What are we going to do when we find it? And I'm like, pick it up and run. I had not thought about all this stuff at the time. So there we go. Yeah, William, say no to drugs.
I'd say videotape the journey if you can. But once you find it, yeah, videotape it. You could even rewalk the 9 clues. Leave it where it is. You know what I mean? You're not capturing it for the first time. Everybody's like, somebody's going to steal it. Why? It's been there for 10 years. Now all of a sudden somebody's going to steal it. I don't know. Unless somebody followed you would be the only way. I would have no problems with, I mean, you're going to be paranoid, of course, because you found it, but I think it's unfound. But
so, Cynthia, if you find it, are you going to stop, leave it there, go back, retrace your steps, walk through them, and be like, here I am, guys, I'm looking at... Are you going to do that?
When I take the contents back and I go back to make my second trip to get the rest, yeah, then I would videotape everything.
Oh, that's just like you when you were at Red Rock. Like, I don't know what you would be like, I just found it and I'm going to get the rest. You know, I could see that.
Yeah, totally see that. Log it. In other words, you're blogging it. You're not going to show it until you're ready to show it, but at least you have it. And that's proof as well. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, let's go back. So now you have it in your pack. You have this sturdy backpack. Let's just say 1 or 2 trips. It doesn't matter. Now, what's the next step? The next step is, I believe you should put it... Getting it home. You should put it in your trunk. The reason that I say that is I reflect on some of Illinois Ghost videos. You may get pulled over. If you do, you have a chance if it's in the trunk. They might still search the trunk. And some people say, oh, but you have a legal right to it. The cop with the gun is going to be able to determine who gets to say it might still be confiscated. So I believe, at least in the trunk, it has a chance of being, I'd be hiding it behind some things. That's when I would be putting it in the trunk, and I would have a picture of it and the newspaper. That's where the newspaper would come in handy. Yeah, at least that's your proof in case somehow it does get stolen or something crazy happens. At least you have proof that, hey, I had it on this day.
I would hide that camera as well. That's just me. And then go cash rest of the way if possible. This is where Forrest Fenn searchers are little investigators. If you do anything via credit card or whatever later, I would recommend doing everything via cash if you want to remain anonymous, or just the option of it. They will try to hunt you down. And so the less footprint, the better. This might be naive of me to say. This is just what I have in my mind. What do you guys think of that slide?
This is why I always told Michelle that if I'm ever killed when I'm out treasure hunting, to do an autopsy of my rectum, because I'm going to stuff as much into my prison wallet as I can. Just in case.
#prison wallet.
In case I'm killed, I want people to know I figured out the poem, that I figured it out.
Okay.
Well, here's the thought. So for those of you that fly when you go boots on the ground, if you find it, are you going to fly back?
No.
Or you rent a car and drive back?
No, do neither. Let's go to the next slide.
Oh, you can rent a car and drive back.
No.
Why?
You'll see. Oh, wait. Okay. So let's talk about notifying Forrest first. I believe this letter should already be written. This letter should have been written with some gloves on, so you do not have...
A little overboard.
Okay. Yeah, be hunted down. Have people in front of your home. I'm sorry, you haven't had that.
First off, nobody's going to know until you decide to go public.
Sure, they're not.
If the person doesn't want to be identified, they won't be.
I'm sorry, people have been in front of my home already. Okay, this is the maybe.
That's because you're on YouTube.
Yeah, because whatever. So here is my interpretation. You guys can say I'm paranoid. That's fine. This is for me. This is where there's a pre-addressed stamped envelope. Don't touch with your fingers and don't lick it. And I have an outer envelope and the inner envelope. I would just take it out at the train station and drop it. I'm going to go over why train station in a minute. I would include something specific about the solve and the story. One important thing, something that it's just not, I found it, because he gets plenty of those. We all do if we're in the Fenn universe. Plenty. I would not leave any fingerprints or lick or anything that someone could figure it out, because there's crazy birds, in my opinion.
Asks, is this after you get back home?
No, this is when you hit the train station. This probably should have come after the train one.
Why?
Because you don't know if you have it yet until, don't drop it before you actually have it. And you have it before.
You have the treasure chest, yeah.
I would notify him, because in my opinion, I have 4 days until I get home. And most likely, and I don't want to wait those 4 days for a searcher to die or have any other issues.
That's a good point. That's actually a really good point. For the person who finds it, for the chat room, do you feel that the person who finds it owes it to the community to notify Forrest the same day? Not if you want to, you can be anonymous. You don't have to say where or anything of that, but can you at least, I would say, call Forrest, but you're saying you wouldn't call him? You do this letter?
Nope.
It's not going to get there. The letter's going to take a couple days to reach him. So that's the question. Does anybody feel obligated that they owe it to the community to notify Forrest the same day if they were to find it, so that he can at least say it's been found and people can stop looking like this?
This is my opinion. So here's the thing. He says wait 30 to 60 days. I trust Forrest. There's a slide on that. This way you get it to him. He will then notify everyone. That's off of your plate. Now you get to focus on taxes, whether you sell it, getting in a safety deposit box. Oh, if there's a search partner, you guys not getting too sideways of each other, that sort of thing. So this is just my opinion. And I know some of you think this is way overboard. I'm okay with that. I want you to have some time to revisit this video when you have found it.
Oh, Huli says they'd want to revisit the spot a few times before they tell anybody.
There you go.
Davio says tell the world before you tell Forrest.
Okay.
What do you think, Cynthia? What would you do if you found it?
I would tell Forrest immediately, but I sure as hell wouldn't tell anybody else, not until you really do get it home, whatever your method is. And Christy, I'm asking you, why a train station, and how the hell are you going to get to an Amtrak station from most places in the U.S.?
There's a slide. I have 2 slides on it.
Most places in the Rocky Mountains where it could be, there are no train stations.
Yeah.
So how do you get from your hotel or the parking area to a train station?
So I have a couple slides on that. So
Okay.
Parking lot, that for just a minute. And I actually strongly believe in the train more than driving, if you want to keep a hold of it, in my opinion.
Are you saying if you want to remain anonymous, you should do this?
No, I'm saying if you want to get it home safely, and someone like me that has 30 hours to drive, this is more than that for me.
So go back to what?
That really is an individual thing, because, like, Chrissy, I think you and I talked about it once before. If you're one of the searchers from Japan or Europe or wherever, and you're flying, that's a huge issue for you. Like for someone that lives in Canada or Mexico that can drive it across the border, that's pretty hairy as well.
Yeah.
And then for people that apparently, like Rick McDonald has talked about, where he gets stopped all the time when he's driving home.
Yep.
I think it really does depend on where you are.
Yep.
Myself, I would never ever consider there be an issue. I don't fit any kind of a profile of any cop stopping me. Obviously, if I don't want to be stopped for whatever reason, you don't speed, you drive the speed limit. You don't do anything erratic where there's a reason to be stopped.
Right. I agree with you on all that.
I think for someone like me, it's not a problem, but I can see that it could be for others.
Okay, knock on wood, I haven't been pulled over. I just found out my tags, because of a weird thing, were expired for the last 8 months, and I never got pulled over, so it wasn't an issue. It was an issue with DMV, and I paid some fees. But I agree with you exactly. I haven't had a ticket in 15 years, but This is $1 million treasure chest. And no offense to police officers. I have brothers and fathers and mother-in-laws and lots of people that are all police officers. I don't want to be at the mercy of the police officer that says, I'm confiscating it. Someone said in the chat, you have the right to say, no, I will not be searched. You're in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, Oklahoma. I'm not getting out of there, I don't think, without a search and whatever is said later. And then I don't have that. So I'm just giving you my thought process, but I want to be questioned along the way because I think we can get to a really good plan for different people. I know you drive so much because you drive more than most, I think, and you don't have the issue. So you might go a different direction, but I heard some really good reasons. You know, my last search partner, there are some really good reasons. So okay. So
we did miss an auction. One of the illustrations just ended a couple minutes ago, and it went for $306. This is the one of Peggy from Too Far to Walk. Just
nice.
Nice. And then there is another one. The arrowhead actually, I think, ends in a little while.
Yeah, it was down below. There.
It's only got 11 minutes left. It's only got one bid of $75. That's a weird one, isn't it? It's like
that's interesting.
Looks like a wolf tooth or something. So there it is. It is from Forrest Fenn's collection. I'll put the link in the chat. I mean, it's only $75. It'll be interesting to see how high this one jumps. So remind me to go back to it in about 6 or 7 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so next slide. So these are the two things that I talk about when I talk about why the train station. Okay, so if you are close enough, and that's a relative term, to get home, sure. Go home, go to your rental car return location. But in my opinion, you go to a train station, and here's why. I don't believe you're going to get on a plane with it. It's not going to make it through the train or the airport security. It's not going to make it even in checked bags. So that's the first thing. The second is it's relatively inexpensive. So you can take a couple $100s out and buy a cross. I did a search of, it wasn't Yellowstone. I think it was Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City. So you can take an actual bus or a side train to Salt Lake City, and then you can go directly Salt Lake City to any of the major cities on the East Coast and then get back down to Raleigh. So you can do that relatively easy. And then there is a full cabin. I want to sleep on it. If I have to go 3 days, I don't want to do that in my car. I'm driving 3 days before I get home. So I want to be able to sleep on top of it and be able to eat, go to the bathroom, etc. And that is where cabin food, restroom, all of that is there. And I'm going to show the actual cabin in a second that I would purchase. It's a suite because, hey, you're now a millionaire. But you refuse down service where they turn down your sheets and all of that. You could greet the person at the door. You don't let them in. Go to the next slide, Mike.
Well, also, you can do the same thing with a bus, right? You can take a backpack on the bus, keep it with you, all that kind of stuff. So a bus will be an option, right?
Yeah, if you want to go from 3 days to about 9 days, and sure. Depends
how far you have to go.
Did you go back? Go back one. Did you?
I don't know if I can.
Oh, there we go. So here's what a cabin or a suite looks like. All your meals are included. You can actually have multiple people. I would literally be sleeping. I would worry that I'm going to sleep and somebody's going to steal it. There's every conspiracy theory that I'd have on. There's a window to be able to look out, think, all of that. There's an upper level to be able to really have a nice view, climate controlled. You know, everything is there. Fresh towels, you have a shower, you have a couple of days. Again, this is for me. This is what I would be doing. The biggest issue, though, they do not sweep. They have drug dogs. They typically do not sweep people for checking their bags in a significant way. This is where you get around the airlines. The airlines are going to search your bags. So this is the biggest reason or the biggest way. You can drive if you trust it. I don't, but that's me.
Yeah, I think I would agree. A train is the most comfortable way to go. I mean, you know, especially if you have a multi-day journey. If you're only a couple hours away, you could drive it. But for anybody that's out of the U.S., I would put it in a bank in the U.S. And then, you know what I mean?
That
put it in a safety deposit box.
Well, that comes important later. I have a couple slides on that. Dirk says it's more like $1,000+ I did a search, and I know it's a unique time, but I did this a year ago. And now from Salt Lake City because it was up in the north area to, I think it was Penn Station, and it was like $239.
It all depends. You know, it depends where and when and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem is, Tom Walker says, the problem is you would look like the cat that ate the canary, so the cops would definitely search you. That's true. You would try to maintain your face, but absolutely that may happen. Okay, next slide. So does that answer your questions of why, Cynthia?
Yes, I understand now where you were coming from. That was basically for your travel, yes, or anybody else on the East Coast.
So, Cynthia, if you found it, would you drive home or you just drive right to Forrest's house since it's not that far from your house, and you've got to pass it on the way home anyway?
No, I would come directly home and put it in my safe.
Oh, okay.
And then I'd beat on Forrest Gate to let me in.
Right.
So,
the bracelet.
where is exactly?
Yeah.
Where is the safe in your home?
Nah,
Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, next, Mike.
Agreement with the search partner.
So if you have a search partner with you, these are the things you should be thinking about beforehand. I'm not going to go into all the legal stuff and all that. Are you going to remain anonymous with a search partner? Because two can keep a secret if one of them is dead. Do you kill them right there? No, I'm kidding. But how realistic is it that this is going to be kept a secret? Division of the treasure. Division of the PR, the books, the movies, the exclusives, and then all the costs. I'm going to talk about in a minute. Though you might have legal right to the treasure chest, that doesn't mean that you are going to have legal right to the court cases, and that's going to cost lawyers, and lawyers just drain every penny you have.
The other thing is you don't have anything until you go to sell it. You have a bunch of gold and artifacts, but what are you going to do with it? That's another thing with the agreement. What are you going to do with it? And how long are you going to wait before you decide what to do with it and all that kind of stuff?
Have you thought about that? You don't have to do this with anybody else unless Mike and I are with you, and you guys are not doing it without me. Have you thought about that, Cynthia?
Yeah, so Mike and I have discussed how we're going to get it back to Vegas when Christy's in North Carolina.
I hate you guys.
We'll send you a picture from the crack.
You're going to put it all on red.
So the best thing about partnering with Mike is that, Christy, I'm kidding.
I know.
So,
I love you.
Know, I believe one time Forrest and I talked about how you get the most value of it if you're lucky enough to find it. And I believe, and I might be wrong, but I believe there was a conversation where he was saying the way you get the most money is you leave it whole, you give it to an auction like Christie's or, one of the real high scale auction houses, and they sell it as a whole. And Forrest didn't say this, but as I was discussing this with other people, it's like, you get some Saudi prince or these people that have billions of dollars and they just want something that's so unique, so they would pay way more than it's actually worth. That would be one way to do it. But then the other bad part about that is the auction house is going to take a percentage of it, and it would be very, very time consuming because they would have to look at every piece, and evaluate every piece. So that would probably maybe be a year or two down the road. Yeah, I am not in it for the money. So for me, I would just, I think I've said this before, I think on someone's show, I'd have three of my best friends or two of my best friends there. Well, Mike and two other best friends. And no, I don't need it for the money. I'd want to share it. For one thing, you can sell the gold. I really don't care about coins. I would sell all the gold coins. That would be my cash and all the other goods. Yeah. And all the, not the gold nuggets, but the coin.
You keep those? Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably. But everything else, you bring your best treasure. Yeah, and I'm not drinking. Your best treasure chase friends in, and you just go around and you pick, and you pick out items until it's gone.
Oh, you keep it all away? Yeah.
I would give most of it. I would give most of it away.
Well, I
don't know what I'd do with it if we find it, Kpro. I don't know. We'd have to sit down and talk about it because I've never seriously thought of,
Well,
and we're going to give. You mean what you and I are going to give to Kpro after we go through it and get our
Kpro gets the frog. We already know that.
Well,
you've got to figure out the rest.
I have actually thought about this, and I have thought I would want to do a tour through the Rockies, and it would go to the Denver Museum. It would go to the Cody Museum, like lots of security, but it would actually be on display all through the Rockies. Then
that really is a cool idea.
1 year later, I would then do something like all the people that were a part, and they would get something, and then probably sell off the rest. But yeah, right. But here's a question for you and Mike. When Forrest passes, what's the odds his family will claim it as a part of his estate?
Yeah, that's a question.
I said 0%, but that's just me. But what do you think, Cynthia?
A possibility, correct?
Oh, anybody can do anything. I don't believe they will.
It's not.
Yeah, I don't either.
You don't think they have a legal right in court to say, hey, this is after Forrest is gone, of course. If somebody
they don't want it. I'm pretty sure they want to stay as far away from that thing as they can.
Yeah, but once it's found and it's over and it's $3 million worth of whatever.
Yeah, $3 million,
like, hey, this was ours.
And they already know beforehand, crazy searchers, if they try to take claim to it, they're going to have more crazy searchers after them. I believe they're going to go, thank God, they're going to go focus on someone else and not my daughter, my granddaughter, my this, my that. I think they're going to be relieved when it is found, my opinion.
And my other thing is, you've been inside Forrest's home. He's got more in 1 or 2 paintings on his walls.
Yeah,
he has more money hanging on his walls than that chest will ever bring in. Those kids don't need the treasure chest.
But it would be interesting if that was to go to court, if they tried to lay claim to it. Okay, we got a minute left in Forrest Fenn's Arrowhead. $75, one bid. I'm surprised. Let's see if it jumps. We got a minute 17. And then we've got an auction that Copper Dan just put up that we will show as well here when this one's over. It really wouldn't be Forrest's family. It would be other searchers with the lawsuits, right? That's what you got to worry about, is other searchers saying, you used my solve, I posted on Chase Chat in 2014.
No, I emailed you like 6 months ago. You never responded, and you stole my search or sold my solve. Miss Lisa brings up a point of you have to worry about the taxes. Not only that, taxes, and then Christie's, their tax. I mean, you're talking more than half is gone right there. So I agree with you.
Hey, should we bid on this? It's only.
I was gonna say, why don't you put $80 in just
somebody's. Let's see if it works. I don't know if
don't put in 200.
I don't even know if I'm logged in. Let's see.
You just did 100. You could have gone for 80.
Yeah, they outbid us. All right.
Okay. Damn it.
20 seconds.
110. 110. 110. 110. 110.
150. 150.
What are you doing? No, I wouldn't have done that. Okay, but it's all right.
Oh, we're the high bidder. Wait. We just won it. Oh, wait. No, it jumped up to 148.
No, we got it. We put in 150.
Second.
Let's see.
Right there.
Let's see.
You are the highest bidder. You won.
Yeah, we did win. $148. We did win. That's awesome.
Ha ha.
How do you know you won?
It says you won this auction.
Right here. It says you won the auction. Right there.
Oh, okay.
I can't believe it went for this cheap. I mean, it's one of Forrest's Arrowhead, so we'll do something cool with it once we get it. That's awesome.
That is awesome. Okay.
Cool. Hey,
and then Copper Dan has one that he just.
No, let's go back to. Okay.
Said you won. Now you got to pay. All right. Here's the one from Copper Dan. Too Far to Walk Copper art piece. So Dan has made his third piece related to the Thrill of the Chase. This one's called Too Far to Walk, and this is number 001. So as you can see, it's a beautiful piece. And Dan, you're in the chat room. Is this one of the large ones? I'm assuming the large size or the small size. This is the third piece of 9. 9, Dan, change that. Different pieces. Oh wait, maybe that is supposed to be 9. This is the third piece of nice. He put nice. I don't know if he means 9. What that's supposed to mean. Relate to the clues. Too Far to Walk. 8 inches by 17 inches. It's piece number 001. Made in copper. So you guys know Copper Dan. You know his artwork.
He says 8 by 17.
And there it is. Okay. So this is going to go for 6 days. So this will end next Monday. So if anybody's interested, just go search Forrest Fenn and you will find it. Okay.
Yeah, and I need to talk to you because Copper Dan, I want to see what between Mike and I we don't have. We have big pieces, little pieces, several pieces, but I want to talk to you about. Yeah, but I have several. I have big, little, all that. So anyway. Okay, so, let's go back to the presentation. Now, Cynthia's gonna be running around in her birthday suit. We're gonna have a great little video of her running around having a good old time. Okay,
That's
so
a selfie that I remember from Cynthia.
yeah, but the treasure chest wasn't there.
Is that
Just
gonna
wait.
happen this year too, Cynthia?
Not till I'm 70. It's coming up.
I was gonna say a tradition. Okay.
When I'm 70.
Okay, so now you've made the agreement with your search partner, whatever that is, however you're going to divide it up. I personally, this is where Mike and I agree. We don't put anything in writing between us and between people that we have any agreements with. If you trust someone enough to be your search partner, this might be totally wrong. I would tell you in business, I don't think like this, but if you trust them enough to be your search partner, you have to trust them enough, in my opinion. So we don't sign searcher agreements. Many people have asked us, but we don't personally. So there you have it. So now you have the agreement with your search partner. You have you're in the train, sleeping on the treasure. They're bringing you food. You have a bathroom. You're 3 or 4 days. Of course, Forrest Fenn. When do you then reach out to him again? I put this here just to say, I'm going to trust that Forrest Fenn will keep your secrets, but it's totally up to you. I'm not going to go into that piece in the rest of this presentation. When do you contact him again? Is it the minute you get home, after it's in the safety deposit box? Is it 30 days later? Is it? I'm not even going to get into that piece because I'm biased, because I do have a relationship with Forrest. So I would be biased in whatever I say.
And for me personally, I believe you should call him the same day. And you can say, Forrest, I found it. This is where. Just explaining where you're at. He'll know, right? He knows if you're in the right area or not. Yeah. You don't have to go into detail. You don't have to do all that. Just say, I'm going to get it back home, and then I'll contact you about what to do and all that. But I would let him know so he could announce it.
Yeah. And I'd let him know via that letter, but okay.
Let the lawsuits begin. But I thought you just said, but it's going to take 4 days for that letter to get there. You're not worried about...
The mail doesn't take 4 days, in my opinion. The mail takes 2 days. So
you're going to be mailing it from Yellowstone, obviously. So does
or
it take a couple days to get to Santa Fe?
Or from right outside of Santa Fe, and it gets there the next day. So
to 8.25 miles.
Okay, so Forrest has never indicated he would legally protect the finder from lawsuits, and they are going to be very costly, in my opinion. Very. So this is just my interpretation.
Yeah, you need a good lawyer, right? So one of the things you need to do in those 30 days is find a good law firm that you want to use. Right?
Yeah, go to the next slide. This is magic.
Right.
Okay, so this is the time you're getting home. These are the things that we just talked about. Pieces, do you sell it as a whole? Do you sell it in pieces? You're going to have a couple days if you're someone like me, and most people, you're going to have some time, and even Cynthia, you're going to have time to think about it on your drive. Sell it in pieces, sell it as a whole. What is the unknown item? Are you going to sell that? Is the auction private or public? Are you donating it to a museum? But the biggest thing is on this slide is you have to get a lawyer and you have to get a tax professional. In my opinion, not only because Forrest deserves it, Forrest will have some opinions on this, in my opinion, because he's already talked to a lawyer and he has a tax person. So in my opinion, Forrest might have some referrals here, but this is up to you. But at a minimum, you're going to have a lawyer, a tax professional, and in my opinion, you should also have a PR agent, but we'll get into that in a minute.
And that's, I guess, you think you should get a lawyer even if you want to be anonymous, just in case?
100%, yes.
Oh, okay.
And lawyers are not wonderful human beings, so find a good one.
Right.
I should say a lot of them are.
Press agent.
Okay, so here are the things that you need to think about. You skipped one, I think. Go back one. Okay.
Reminders? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, go back even one more. Okay, go. You're going the wrong way.
It won't let me go back. All right, hang on.
Okay.
Let me get it back.
Let me go through mine because I think you have... Okay, you need to go... You skip some. So, driving on the train, go to that one, and then the next one. There's one after that.
Driving on the train. Agreement with search partner?
No, it says you made it home first 30 to 60 days.
Okay.
You skipped a bunch of slides, honey.
I did.
Yeah, you did. I'm not driving, so you did it.
All right, hang on. Here we go. Okay.
Okay. So, in my opinion, now you've made it home.
What number is it? When you tell me,
11.
This one?
No, next one. Okay. So you've made it home now. I believe your first day, you should be taking a picture of every single item, pictures, videos, and a description of the item the best that you have it.
I agree with the inventory, front and back. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The second thing is, and this is something you should do before you go out, you should already have a safety deposit box identified. Here's the problem. Most cities have a shortage of large safety deposit box. There's a lot of smaller ones. So you need to think through, are you able to find one that's large, or do you keep the outer chest and then you just take the contents and put it in a smaller box? Oftentimes you already need to be a pre-established customer for 30 days. Oftentimes they have a waiting list. So you're going to need to think about that. The research I have done is there's been some major issues of, usually this is in the basement of many banks. Because it's in the basement, there is flooding issues. It is not insured. You have to insure it yourself. It's not FDIC insured, even if it's an FDI insured bank. You have to have a separate policy. So just know that. Just wrap it up however Forrest wrapped it up, because it's been out there for 10 years. If you have a search partner, so let's say the three of us found it. This is amazing that they have this service. I didn't know this. There is a way that we can say, let's just say Cynthia and I found it. Cynthia needs me to be able to go and get access to that box. So we each have a key and we have to open it together to be able to get in there.
I think it's pretty clear that you get the frog, I get the 265 gold coins, and Cynthia gets the rest.
There you go.
See, and this presentation,
although we don't know what the one thing is that we'll really like.
see, and this presentation is more about the search community. I'm the giver. I'm here for the search community.
Or we play a game of Chaseopoly and winner takes all.
Oh God. I'm just saying in general, if you have a brother, sister, if you have a couple, if you have whatever it is, I did not know safety deposit box. Here's what they did. A lot of addicts, their family has them put important things in safety deposit boxes. And then they say, we'll keep those things, but you have to go with me if you ever want to get them, because they're worried about those things disappearing. I never knew this. I never knew a safety deposit box. You could have two people required to go and open it.
Yeah,
never knew it.
Yeah. Mel Drum says contents of safe deposit boxes are not insured. Is that true?
That is true. I just said that.
Insured.
They are not insured. So you need to get a supplemental policy. I shouldn't say that. They're insured up to, most of them are $500. Some of them are $250. Some of them are $1,000. But nothing in comparison to what we're saying. Most of them do not allow cash. That's a whole nother thing, because people were hoarding cash during the Depression times. And so they have lots of rules. I'll just say, read the agreement. Cash, there's also one that says, many of them say, if this gets caught up in court, we are able to seize your box and give it to the court. So think about when Cynthia sues me for the box because I stole her search location, and then I say I haven't, she finds out where the safety deposit box is, the sheriff gives them, they're able to seize it. So just know that.
What you need is Gringotts, but anybody catch a reference? Gringotts? No? All right.
Nothing. You got
somebody
nothing.
out there got it. Okay. The Switzerland Bank, MJ Inzer says. Okay.
And then the big thing is, don't tell anybody where it's stored. I mean, the safety deposit box key doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
that's another secret. I mean, there needs to be secrets upon secrets upon secrets, as far as I'm concerned. So there you go. That's the 30 to 60 days. Agreement with search partner. Of course, Forrest Fenn. Let the lawsuits begin. Decisions. Okay. Now go to press and agent. I don't know how you jumped over so many things.
I don't either. Keep going.
Yes. We went over
that.
that.
On the slides. It's pretty cool. Which one am I going to?
Next. Okay. So here's a thing that I actually think I have expertise on, but I put it all in one slide. Oh, wait. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, I have one slide after this. So I believe that the treasure chest PR aspect is as lucrative as the treasure chest itself. I believe you can sell those pictures. The first pictures of the treasure chest are a one event, of a one time event that you could sell to, let's say, People Magazine for the first pictures. The pictures of the treasure chest, the pictures of the items in the treasure chest, the unknown story that Forrest references, the unknown item in the treasure chest. I don't know if those are two different things. The actual full solve, the finder's story, all of those things. And I think you started out with like a People magazine that pays $1 million for Kim Kardashian's first pictures of the baby. Today's Show, then you move to a Dateline, then you move to a book, and you can have a ghostwriter, you can have movies that keep, there's a way to keep yourself anonymous through all this. Get a good agent.
I'm not. Wouldn't it be cool to go to Douglas Preston and say, hey, let's write the story? Because you know he's got some ideas, and he's shopping around to Hollywood and all that stuff. He's got the rights to the original Thrill of the Chase, so then he could also, you know what I mean? He could help you with the rights for the actual the story of it being found.
What do you think, Cynthia? What's the are you going to come out and say it's you? And then what things are you going to sell and you going to do from there?
Ooh,
Me?
Uh-huh.
Or Mike? Me?
You, Cynthia.
No, I would stay anonymous. I wouldn't want anyone to know. After listening to Sassy's story about finding the David Blaine orb, oh my God, it would be a horrible nightmare.
But you said you would give some of the items away, so
I
only
would.
people you know, like
So yeah, but it wouldn't be able to be right away. You'd have to let. I mean, you let Forrest know. He tells the news outlets or however, whatever his plan is, and then you just let it go away. I bet at least 6 months. And then that's when you have your friends come in and say, hey, do you want to have margaritas on my back porch in Vegas with Mike and, well, maybe Christy will be there. I don't know. But,
I want that spaghetti dinner. I'll be there.
So, no. I would have to let time go by, let it all calm down, and 6 months later you say to whoever.
You wouldn't get so would the story ever come out about where you found it?
Boy, it all depends on where it would be.
You wouldn't get a ghostwriter?
The story would be cool. It would be probably neat to have the story out. But as far as actually releasing the actual location and revealing Forrest's special spot, I don't know if I'd want to give it up because, I mean, I don't have any idea yet where it is or why it is special to him.
So
but I feel such a loyalty to Forrest and whatever this is making it special. Would I want that desecrated by hundreds or...
Would you want that celebrated or desecrated? Which word was that? Celebrated.
I don't want his special place ruined by a lot of foot traffic.
And you remember what he said. I don't think we've released that, but you remember what he said about it, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
So think of this as all of us searchers. Forrest comes out on Dale's blog and on Thor, the Hint of Riches forum, and says it's been found, everybody.
Yeah.
And then crickets. Then the finder waits a year before they decide how and why they want to give the solution. So it's been found, and now we're all just like, we have to wait for the finder to say where it was.
So based on how I would feel if someone else found it, I would want to know the state. So I would ask Forrest to please reveal the state that it was found in and nothing more.
Gotcha. That's interesting because I think Kpro's right. You do think about how am I going to release this? Is it a book? Is it an interview? But it's not gonna. That's going to take time to set up. So Forrest says it's been found, but now we all just have to wait until the person.
With the right agent, in 60 days, you could have this entire setup. And here's the thing. So Cynthia, let me ask you: anonymity, or in 60 days, locked down with 1 or 2 people sitting in a vault, if you will, you will have another $1 million. Cash between all this press, but you do have to come out.
No, depending on where it is, I would keep it secret, and only a few people would know.
A few people.
I don't know what's the stock market going to do between now and the time or whoever finds.
I mean, a few people know. Those few people have secret record. You know, they're going to record you. They're going to secretly record you and put it out on YouTube, and everyone's going to know. I tried that, Cynthia.
Well. Maybe just the putting a lot of time in between the find then and when it comes out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Maybe that would calm it down.
Right.
I think Sassy really hit the nail on the head, though. The trouble that will be
Yeah.
created.
Yeah, which is
I
unfortunate.
just don't. I don't think $1 million is worth that.
Well, and that's why I said in that case, she was able to say, or she was able to be reassured that the Random House took over the entire lawsuit. Forrest has not said that for the finder. So the finder could have, if you think about it, it's $1 million, let's just say, half of it's going to taxes, etc. That's $500,000. I know how much lawyers cost. That could be gone with 4 lawsuits and I know 4 people that are going to sue just because they want to sue. I mean, we already have people suing. They're suing people that are already in the chase now, and they don't even have the treasure chest. There's going to at least be 4 lawsuits. So I agree with you, but I just don't know how there's a chance not to be known after the things that I've run into. But I don't know.
Is the hassle worth it? I mean, that's the question, right? Is the hassle worth it to not remain anonymous? So everybody's got to decide that for themselves, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so last slide. I learned this one the hard way. I will say, do not send original picture files electronically. They have metadata. It actually a searcher actually sent me, oh, here's your home. And I'm like, how do you know that? You uploaded this picture to a forum and you had location. It was out of your home. I now know where you live. I had no idea. And again, I am naive, so I'm sorry I didn't know. Maybe everybody knows this. Once your identity is known, there's no go backs. Forrest and I had hours of conversation. Cynthia, I think you were there for one of them, about the Jamie drawing. Do you really want to come out? Because once you're out, there's no undoing that. And look at this last year and a half. Even if you win a lawsuit, the only winners are the lawyers. I am too sensitive to go on about that. I think we all just know it's true. Be careful who you tell. 2 can keep a secret. They can secretly record you. They can put those recordings out. There's a lot of legalities in which states, etc., even if you don't want them out. Once you have the treasure chest, pay cash for everything where possible, once you're trying to get back home. And that was the whole don't leave an e-footprint if possible. All in all, last slide, Mike. It will be complicated. That's the only thing I know. I know a lot of you have said, one, what you're saying here is wrong, and I would do it differently. That's awesome, because that means you can shut this down now, Mike. That's awesome because that means you've thought it through. There's so many people that have said to me, though, I don't even know where to start to think about these things. These are just a few of the things that I've thrown out. There's a lot more that you have to really think about if you think that you have the final location. It's going to be a firestorm the minute that you get it to whatever happens after. That's the only thing. And it's fun. This isn't poem related. This was more a request by several people that said, what would you do? Again, I think if you're willing to get out there and have your full story told, the PR agent part of it is, I think, a 7-figure. That's my opinion. 7 figures. So it could be as much as the treasure chest. But again, it comes with a lot of consequence. I've dealt with the small portion of that. I won't, I'll digress. Questions, you guys? There you go.
So, Christy, one of the things that you did not touch on in this, but it goes with it. What would you do, or what will you tell your viewers to do if this is found after Forrest passes away and he's no longer living? Then who do you tell?
I don't think we have that information. I believe, no matter how much Forrest says something different, I believe he is going to give some direction after he passes on who to tell, what to do. He might say, tell this lawyer, so the lawyer gets it out, but they're not involved, type of thing. But I think he's going to give some, he's thought of everything. I believe he's going to give some direction. And I don't think we know what that is yet. I don't think anybody's going to know the final location, but I think it might be tell Dale. I think he has a plan for that. That's my opinion. I've never talked to Forrest about that subject. He has told me nobody knows. Nobody knows. That's the only thing he has said to me.
Should play that clip, but I don't have it ready. So, or you asked him, and he's answered it. We already showed it.
Oh, if we already showed. I can't remember what we
I just
showed.
don't have it, though.
You went crazy that
Well,
one week and threw like 20 more out than I realized. So
what he said, are we showing a clip on the marathon Saturday?
sure.
Okay, you heard it here first. So, all right, we'll deal with that. But what he said in the clip is you said what happens after you pass away. And it's funny because he says, yeah, these treasure hunts have a lot of issues, huh? Then he thinks about it and he says, no, that's not true. There's a way everybody will know, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. So take that for... So that almost makes it sound as if everybody's going to know whether the finder wants them to or not. The finder can be anonymous, but it sounds like people will know that it's been found.
I felt by
I
that.
don't know how that could be, but
I felt by that quote that the finder would want to get it out to everyone, but there was some way that they could still be anonymous. I can't figure that out. That's the story.
It's funny. I remember just the opposite, and that's not one that I have printed out to read right now. I thought he said that there is a way it could be discovered that it was found. So in other words, after Forrest passes, the treasure chest is found. And I thought the question was, is there a way that everyone will know it? And he sort of hesitated and said, there is a way that it could be known. And that's, Christy, where I thought that was part of the story that you and I already had conversations about this. What could that be? Does it involve the other quote you released where there's a story to it, but he's saving that for the person that finds it? So,
yeah, but I think he said at the end of that, but that's up to the finder to tell that story. And that's where I was like, so it's up to them then. They have a choice. That was where I took that little. So that's where we need to pick apart. That's what's so great about the actual quotes is we can pick apart the little pieces. And then some people say, but he rolled his eyes at that second. And they bring in insight that I never thought of before. So, yeah.
he didn't actually say the word that is key. We know that, everybody.
You guys slipped that in at the end. I was being a very respectful, conservative, nice interviewer. You guys went vicious. Savage, as William would say. Savage. That's
why I was there, to get that answer. That question answered.
Shadow, I have it somewhere in this room. I don't have it right in front of me, but if I need to pull it, I can.
What's that?
Shadow is asking, too far to walk. Do you have it in front of you? I do not right in front of me, but... Well, so that's just...
Larry Smith says, I'm hoping his letter will contain another poem to another treasure, and the hunt begins again, and he is forever famous.
Oh my
God. Wouldn't that be something if inside the chest is another treasure hunt?
He better have passed. I would come and beat him up. No, if it takes 10 years to find this, and then he says it's in the treasure chest, haha, keep going. Oh, that's like national treasure. I would just die.
All right, chat room, who thinks it's going to be found this summer before the end of the year? Just put yes or no. I vote for no. I haven't heard of anything that make me think different.
Hey, Mike, I actually have the quote right here that we were just talking. But I don't know that you guys released this yet.
We did. No, we did. As far as we say what happens after you pass away, we did release.
Yes. Okay. So Christy said the question was, "What will happen to the search when you pass away?" He answered, "There's a way to know, but I'm not going to tell you what it is." Is that the one, or is it a different quote?
Right.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Is there anything more?
So I think we're all sort of incorrect with our interpretation of what we were saying without actually... I think we were all combining two different things.
Right. Memories suck. Our memories
he's saying there's a way that you'll know.
Well, wasn't there more to that? Was there another sentence or two of, but it's up to the finder to reveal it or something like that?
Yes. Yes. The next question immediately after that, I think you released this. You ask him what's the one thing all searchers are missing, and then his answer ties into the previous one. Did you guys release that yet? Oh.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, let's do that one on the marathon.
Because it's immediate. I have the timestamps here, and it's immediately.
Heaven forbid we have a documentary that some of these need to go into, Michael.
Right. A lot of people are saying yes. A lot of people think it's going to be found this summer. And then my next question would be why? Why do you think that? How's that different than last year, the year before, the year before?
Well, here's the funny part, and I know you haven't talked to the reporter yet. I talked to a reporter this week who's interviewed 30 people. I was telling Cynthia earlier. And he asked me the question, when do you think it's going to be found this year? And I said, no, I think it'll be probably about 10 years out. He's like, what? Every single person has told me up to this point, within the month or within the year, definitely. And I'm like, well, I think different. He's like, tell me why. My God. It was like, I was on Mars. I was a Martian. And I'm like, well, let me tell you. I said, every year, everybody says at the beginning of the year. I remember some people by the end of the year that they forgot they said it, even though they were tubers in a YouTube video that had said it. By the end of the year, they're like, oh, but I missed it by this much. I'll get it next year. No, I think we're going to do this every year for a while because there's just something that we haven't figured out yet. But that's my opinion. You know what? This is something I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to know this year what it is and what happened, and no one would be brave enough to go and find that person because of the virus. So it would be a perfect year to find it and move to Vegas, and you know, it'll be fun. And you put everything on red and it's huge.
I'm going to Pawn Stars, so that'll be a good one. Everybody can watch.
Could you imagine,
I'll be
Rick?
like, this is one double eagle gold coin from Forrest Fenn Treasure chest. How much, Rick?
Oh, I thought you said you were going to porn stars.
Pawns, what?
We don't talk
Where's your
that.
mind at, Missy?
I was going to be there with you. Damn it.
Right.
We don't talk about that on air.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You have to put on black. MJ says. Okay.
All right.
Crimson Coat. Just put their name. It'll highlight them. So you can just put. If you put Kpro, it will highlight it, whether you put an @ or not.
So, just want to remind everybody, the marathon is this Saturday. Cynthia, you coming on for the marathon? I haven't seen the agenda yet.
Yes, I am. I'm going to battle Michael Huel, right?
Oh,
right?
Nice. Is that over what state it's in, or is it just over in general?
Big picture.
Oh, you're not saying?
No, the big picture. There's an agenda. You should go on Grand Adventure.
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
It's the big picture. We're going to fight
Big
about it.
picture. All right, cool. So, everybody, the marathon, the Forrest Fenn Discussion Marathon is this Saturday. 9 a.m. Pacific, all the way to 9 p.m. Pacific, noon to midnight Eastern time.
Yes.
So we'll have the links up on Friday, so make sure you guys come and check.
Well, so I will tell you, here's the overall agenda. We have a half an hour with each searcher. There's about 3 exceptions, and there is a Battle of the Titans, exactly like Cynthia said. So it's Cynthia versus Michael Hull, which will be fun. There are 2 panels. One panel is, and it was requested by others, the debate on whether others should make money off the chase. Whether you're an artist and you're selling art that's inspired by Forrest, whether you're selling games, whether you're on YouTube, whether you are now a designated searcher like Cowlazars or some of the other name searchers, and you sell a coffee mug or you sell Fenbury stuff or whatever. Is that okay? What's the moral line? There's a panel
that
like
could be a good topic. Yeah.
I cringe a little, but we had so many requested. I'm up for a polite, as long as it doesn't get personal, a polite debate. But good hard-hitting discussion. And then we're going to have an open panel that we already have William, Dan, and Carter on, because each of them, I think, had some interesting topics, but not enough to cover an entire segment. So it's going to kind of be the free-for-all. Let's throw around. Let's have some discussion. The rest are going to be half an hour, kind of here we go and shoot with some different topics, anywhere from, I love Justin. You met Justin, Cynthia. He calls himself the biggest loser, 700 boots on the ground, and I don't got it. I just thought that was precious. But you have a lot of people that, like Justin, that you guys might not know if you didn't go to World Series of Fenn, to a lot of knowns. We're about half and half. So when you see the agenda, there's a little asterisk by the people that you all don't know. That is because Mike needs to do an extra sound check and video check to make sure that they are okay to be on the marathon. Some things, though, are up in the air. There's one searcher I haven't been able to get a hold of. I'm sure he's boots on the ground or he has the treasure chest. He hasn't confirmed. Mike and I have no panels up to this point, so we'll be able to dive in on a couple things if we're able to get a little bit of time. And then, of course, Chaseopoly is discounted right now only up until at the completion of the marathon. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Everybody. And you get the World Series of Fenn poker chip from 2020.
Yeah.
You have your poker chip, Cynthia?
Yes, somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Even if the panel says it's evil, those capitalists are evil, they need to move to a communist country or a different country, we're still selling them. That's what we got. And we go with what Forrest says.
Capitalism. We got one more eBay auction to send, and this is Joe
Oh,
Grande.
I want that.
Browns cast by Forrest Fenn. This is going to actually end during the marathon at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. Right now it's at $510, so this will be a fun one to watch.
And what I have said is I think whoever's bidding on it is Santa Claus, and I've been good this year, and that's what I want. It's already out of my price range, but it's
we got
pretty.
The arrowhead though, wasn't that cool?
It's pretty. No, this is pretty. I have it. I have one for Kpro, but I wouldn't have bid that high, but you got carried away. I love it. It's wonderful.
$148. I think we should give that arrowhead away, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk.
In somehow, way, shape, or form.
I'm sorry, we're in coronavirus time. Let's hold on, and that's
I know.
that's the unfortunate part. Is I think we need to give back, but also we need to be very thoughtful on how we give back because it's gonna be a rough road. I think I put up on Facebook when I was having my pity party last night. You two know, I had an entire plan for the next year and a half, and it included relocation to Las Vegas. It included a lot of things, and all of it's on hold because of the coronavirus. It's really turned everything upside down, and so I'm sad about it all. But I have a job. I have my health, I have my family, and I have good friends, boyfriends, etc. So I'm not in as bad of a situation as others, but everybody's affected by this. So I'm really sad because, Mike and I were making different plans 2 weeks ago than we are this next week. So
the whole world's put on hold right now with this virus thing, and I don't have the sound drop. Sorry, everybody. The soundboard will be in full effect on the marathon, though. Don't you worry.
Oh, good. I'm excited because that's what we need is more.
I'll find some new ones for Saturday.
Oh, great.
So yeah, there it is, Redneck Express. And thanks for the offer for the help too. I would have been calling you if I couldn't get it to work.
Okay, so hold on. Debbie Teal asks, if Cynthia, Mike, and you are search partners, do you split even if Cynthia finds it in Wyoming, or do you have a different split for one of you to find? Oh, we've always joked about this. What I have to tell you, the only thing I want is I want one thing, or I really, really want one thing, and I really like one thing. I would really want the frog, which Cynthia's told me whether she's by herself, if she's on Mars, she's going to give me that. The second is I would like to do the PR, and because I'm going to do a lot of that, the PR piece, I would like to have a portion of that. Everything else, I don't care about. But go ahead, Cynthia and Mike, what is our deal?
I think the question was really if Cynthia goes boots on the ground by herself and finds it, are we still part of a team, or is that out the window?
No.
I think that's the question.
That's out the window.
Yeah, right.
Right.
But
no, we would have to
let us know, and we fly out there and help you decide. Look at it, help you decide what to do.
No, if Cynthia's
Mike, I'll be coming back to Vegas, man. I'll be there before Christy is. So you and I can open up the box on your show. I guess I won't be anonymous. We'll open up the box on your show, and Christy can watch it using Zoom.
Ouch.
You will be right there.
Ouch.
You and I will be together on my back porch.
Ouch. Okay, so if Cynthia...
Get a pool.
If Cynthia picks it up, in my opinion, if Cynthia picks it up by herself, I get the frog. If Cynthia picks it up with me there, let's just say me there, I get the frog. If she picks it up with her search partner, Mike, whatever they negotiated, and I get the frog. And probably some PR rights on all of those.
I would get you the frog.
No, I got the frog already. My God, this is why.
That frog at the poker table, though, not the gold frog.
Make sure
Cynthia will run away together.
And if it's just me finding it, make sure you wash that frog really good when I give it to you.
Oh. Hashtag prison wallet.
Oh my God.
I've never heard that term.
I'm carrying it out in the prison wallet.
Oh my God. And many of you have asked, and I'm going to give you the short version, why the frog, just like why the 1 mile. My mom had a frog collection. She passed about 10 years ago. At the time I told this story the first time, it was 5 years ago. I have now, there's a frog collection. I want a frog. Some people have asked which one. There's more than one frog. I don't care. I want something that I believe this hunt is because of her and her spirit. And she was a wild and crazy. She's the one that introduced me to the poker room. You guys think it was Mike. It was 25 years ago, and it was my mom. And so that's why I want it. Mike has been the first person I've allowed, or not allowed, but who has been willing to get me a frog that I have been okay with taking, because it's taken that long for me to be okay with getting a frog. But I'll take Forrest Fenn's frog, no problem. And that's what Cynthia's going to give me when she finds the treasure chest. And now, are you waiting until, how long are you waiting? Because of the Forrest Fenn quote, I don't know if all of you saw it, the Forrest Fenn quote that we gave out this at the beginning of this. How long are you waiting, Cynthia, until you go out?
April 5. I don't know.
That's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, I can't actually go search until the snow melts.
I was going to say, yeah.
I'll tell you what, as far as I know, Yellowstone is still open as far as getting in the gates.
It's free now, right?
They've closed their visitor center and that kind of stuff, but I believe the entrances supposedly open up to vehicles. I think it's the 3rd week in April, but supposedly they open up to bicycles the first 2 weeks. I am still looking at doing that, but
is there still snow in April in Yellowstone or no?
Oh, they have to. So it takes them a lot of time to get the bulldozers in there and everything to remove all the snow. I don't know how much snow is there. I haven't been keeping up, but if the roads are clear and they're going to allow people on bicycles in, I would still like to try to do that.
And then you can throw it in the water high, even though it might be frozen.
I don't think the treasure is going to be right along the Grand Loop. I think you have to walk in and get it.
It's not along a man-made trail. Wouldn't that be considered a man-made trail?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. If I ride my bicycle through Yellowstone, it's not to find the treasure, it's to see the animals.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
John Bobbitt says, I'm taking the treasure chest to Toby AGK. Absolutely. He is as knowledgeable. When we started this documentary project, Toby's the guy that I went to say, help me, because I mean, Alan is a documentarian for 25 years, but Toby is who I trust in giving me. I have gone against his recommendation. He said, don't put anything out until you're complete. I think that was the expectation. But anyway, John Bobbitt, that's good advice. I think Toby will make sure that you get all of those things that I say about PR agent, etc. I think he would do. So I think that's super smart. Super smart, John Bobbitt. But I know you were out just a few weeks ago and you checked in with me, so I wasn't worried about your safety. But when you called me and you're like, I'm going in, I'm like, if I don't hear from you by 4 o'clock, I'm calling the police or the ranger. Thank you for checking in right after that, because you knew. I don't know if you honestly did or not. You heard, but don't go out right now. That's it.
Yeah, no snow, everybody. Don't go out if there's snow. It's just, why risk it? Why? You're not going to find it because it's covered in snow. Maybe the blaze is covered in snow too. You don't know.
I just think if it's this hard to find it under snow, are you just asking for, like, it's already a 1% chance, even though I know you roosters think it's more. But it's a 1% chance. When it's under snow and under ice and under pack and hard whatever, it's then becomes 0.01. Like, give yourself the best chance. I just don't think I think we're going to see a hard year because people are so anxious to go. I don't,
Shadowcaster. It's over here in a box. Otherwise, I'd grab it. He's still looking for somebody to open up too far to walk.
Oh, wait. Okay.
You have it? I thought you said page 99, page 100.
Oh, hold on. Let me get off of my blanket from my...
Hey, look at that blanket. Cynthia's been on that blanket. So, Cynthia, you got an exact spot you're going to check, or are you still kind of looking around for something?
I am refining my last year's search area. I am refining it to a more exact spot. Thank you to you, Mike, actually, because you have made me understand that the blaze is going to be a small enough feature or
she's
mark,
buttering
whatever,
you up.
That once you find that blaze, you do not have to spend 2 hours looking around.
Right, and that's just my opinion, everybody, but they have talked, and it just makes it
You totally made me understand that, and because of Christie's asking to find a quote about where Forrest said the clues are in chronological order, and researching that while she's looking, so in that, it's the Voice of America interview that was conducted last summer, and then Dale actually was there at the same time. He had permission to record the interview that the lady had with Forrest, and then Dale so kindly, he posted the whole unedited interview of this on his blog, So if you go to Dale's blog and do a search for VOA as in Voice of America unedited interview, he has it in 4 parts so that they're short segments. And in part 3, at the 1 minute mark, Forrest says, when you get to the 9th clue, look down because that's where the treasure chest is. So, Mike, I think your advice about whatever the blaze is being fairly small, it's going to be right there. So, back to your question about me and my search area, I have to refine it because I believe that's correct and your theory is correct.
I think it just makes the most sense. I mean, Forrest has got to lead a reasonable person within 12 inches by 12 inches. I don't know if you want to go into that comment, but you shared it on YouTube with everybody, remember? Okay, you did, yeah, okay. So he's got to mark it exactly where it is, and that's the only way he's doing it, yeah. By the blaze. All right, what do we got? Shadowcaster.
I think he said page 98, 99.
Okay.
But I need that confirmed. I've asked him a couple times what it is, and he's not answering me. What page?
Drawing of the cliff, the bottom of the cliff
right,
is
bottom
a
of
mirror image of the top.
Is that the cliff on? Yeah, the cliff on page 98, the cliff on page 100, the cliff on page 103.
98, 100. He's saying it's a mirror image. I think between the two images, page 98 and page 100. So everybody can check that out for themselves if you have too far to walk. We actually have one Too Far to Walk left. That's the only book we have left. So maybe he's interested in buying it. Let me know. I got one left.
So I don't know if he's saying here's the one.
Okay.
Here is
like a face.
Here is the other one. Is he saying
that's supposed to be the same cliff?
Is he saying those two are mirror images?
One looks like one zoomed in, one zoomed out. Yeah, they're the same. But
I
don't know in the story if they're supposed to be the same or not.
I know you're trying to tell us something, Shadow.
Christy, look at the page 100 one. There's actually a boot. Do you see the boot that's laying at the bottom of the cliff? Look at the illustration. There's a boot.
I saw some talk about this earlier. No, but my imagination sucks. Okay. Yeah, she's gone. She's gone. She's gone. This is her. This is her, people.
Keith Bagley says, in my opinion, knowing the 9th clue is important. It's not in the middle of the poem. Or why else did he say, hear me all and listen good? Because we are done or we need to listen. He's saying, hear me all and listen good because of the 9 clues. You've got to actually listen to what he's saying. My opinion. But when he says, Terry Scant with marveled gaze means take the chest and get the heck out of there, how can you say the 9th clue is after that in the poem? I don't
see. I'm sorry. This is at the bottom of page 100.
Yeah.
Right there. Look at the very bottom.
That's a shoe.
Boot.
Is that a boot right there? Oh, that's cool.
Is that
I can't make out what it is, but yeah.
Okay, this is where I say, really?
It's not a rock?
Oh, that black round thing?
Yeah.
Right there. That's a hiking boot.
Is it? Oh, okay. I never caught that.
Oh my gosh, it's really clear. To me, there's even a heel on it.
Is it upside down so you're showing the treads right there?
No, it's the laces.
Is that part of an ankle where someone's been amputated their foot?
Yeah, that's it. It's an amputated foot.
There it is.
With a hiking boot on it. Seriously.
Okay. Now I see between 98 and 100 so I'm going to show it again. This one is this one. This one is this one. This one is this one. This is the beginning of that one, and those two are just not shown. I don't know. I don't know. Shadow says call him. You have his number. Oh, no.
We can't.
I'm hosting tonight.
We'll have a little open lines. We'll see.
Okay. Well, no, and we what are we doing Thursday? What's Thursday?
Or are we going to take a break for the marathon on Saturday? We haven't decided yet. Or maybe we could just do open lines on Thursday.
Yeah, let's do open lines and we'll have Shadow on, and it'll be fun. So let's recap because we're going on almost 2 hours.
No, John, it's not.
Can you go to the first slide, which had hard-hitting Forrest Fenn, brand new quote. And thank you, Forrest. You have been great. And you got to hear, he also got to hear my thoughts about when you put out the water comment, he got to hear me be an old biddy at him. And so I want to say thank you for that. And he put this out, and this will be on Dale's. I don't know when, but
Want to go to the Forrest Fenn quote?
yeah. So Forrest, thank you for giving us this, especially so
Passed
timely. Yeah, you did that a bunch of times.
Hang on.
Arrow up.
I can't believe I lost power right before we went live.
Uh-huh. Kiwi, you missed the brand new quote. Well, here it is again. If Mike can figure it out, I can do it.
Figure it out.
I can do it if you can't.
I got it. Okay, here we go. There we go. Here is the quote.
Oh, Crimson said, Cynthia, there's more than that just boot. Oh, it's going to be good stuff on Thursday.
There it is. You read it, Kpro. This is from Forrest today.
Don't.
I'm sure it's going to be on Dale's blog at some point, right?
Yeah, but no, you heard it here first is all I know. For the people that are like, oh, we don't get quote, here's a Forrest Fenn quote, never heard before, and I believe it is in, well, I know it's in relation, and thank you, Shadow. You weren't in here at the very beginning, I don't believe, and I want to attribute this to you. You said you thought he would give a quote. I did not. I was wrong. And so don't become treasure blind. If snow is in your search area, or if you have to pass through snow or ice to get there, don't go. I believe that period should be an exclamation point, but that's just me. Snow is always off limits no matter where it is. Wait until summer. So he pretty much is saying there, I mean, I think he has taken off. I think he's saying it's impossible to find. That's the equivalent of it's impossible to find.
It's impossible to find in the snow.
In
Think
the
about
snow.
it. It's going to be covered up with snow.
Oh.
The blade could be covered up with snow.
Jay Masters asked, why is there a line? That is the template that I used, and I couldn't get around it. I tried to make it go away because I knew somebody would ask. I'm sorry. There is no line there from Forrest. That is just a flowing sentence.
So Denise says it means leave quick as far as the Terry Scant with Marvel Gaze line. It means leave quick because it's not there. Leave where you are and follow the other clues. If you don't know the 9 with absolute conviction, if the keyword has been found, it will reveal the 9. But Denise, that's not what he said. In the interview that Cynthia just quoted on Dale's blog, the reporter asked, or Forrest offered, what does Marvel Gaze, what does...
That's a different quote.
Yeah.
Terry Scant with Marvel Gaze. What does it mean? And he says, take the chest and get the hell out of there. He didn't say, look, he said, take the chest. You found it. Terry Scant with Marvel Gaze, you take the chest and you get out of there. And what's above it? Found, if you've been wise and found the blaze. Take the chest and get the hell out of there. I mean,
well, and so here's something else I'd like to say. John Patriot says, I don't believe you. Show us the exact email, please. Here's the thing. When Dale posts something on his site, he does not get the show us the exact email. So first off, I say, sorry, John. Secondly, it'll be up on Dale's site very quickly. And once
I'm looking it up. She said he didn't say take the chest. I'm looking it up in case I'm wrong. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. No, I'm just saying about the quote that came from Forrest about searcher safety, that we're actually wanting to question about searcher safety. I think it's irresponsible to question it. But I will say, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. But I will say, I don't think anybody questions Dale. I don't think anybody questions Denny. I don't think they should question me. But you'll see on Dale's very soon. That's what I say.
So I can't play this, right? There's not an issue to play this off of Dale's blog, I don't think.
I think there is, but you go right ahead. It doesn't matter.
The question is, can you guys hear it? So listen, see if you guys can hear this.
I don't hear anything. Are you hearing anything, Cynthia?
No.
Mike, we're hearing nothing. Is Mike frozen? I think Mike's frozen. Okay, that worked out well. Okay, so Cowlazars says, I just lost power again. I think it was Forrest Fenn is to blame. It was going to be a super secret quote. Sorry.
That's it.
Oh, he's going to be unhappy. He's saying he just came back online. So it's one of those flickers enough to shut down. You better have a power surge protector, Mike, because that's what happened, I think, with his power supply from yesterday. But anyway, he'll come back on. There you go. Yeah, John Patriot, if you think searcher safety is something I'd make up, get the hell off the channel. That's what I say. If you think I would make up what Forrest is saying about searchers being safe, you don't need to be here. And I won't even go there. You'll see it later on Dale's site, but we wanted to get it to you as quickly as possible. And also, there are 12 different quotes that Forrest has given us up on Thor. They are there. It is awesome. Mike wants to say something. Hey.
I lost power, so
That's okay. We'll all finish it up. Don't worry. I'll bring it home, baby.
Well, my internet's gonna take too long to get on. So
That's fine.
you play it.
Okay, bye. He wants to play whatever you guys were talking about. Let's just tell him he did. I don't even know what you guys were talking about. So, okay. So, anything else, Cynthia, tonight? We've had a fun night. We've had a good night, but we've also take a pause. Send a prayer to... I do have to say, I think Cynthia could say this too. I've had a moment or two, boots on the ground, that I probably did something that was a little foolish. I survived it. I don't think I did anything that could be non-survivable, but I did something that I could have hurt myself. There's some searchers out there that obviously went too far, and I'm really sorry about that. But tonight, I think Forrest has really put to bed, don't go out when there's snow. Just don't. And I think it varies, though, between New Mexico up to Wyoming. So I'm just saying, let's just take a pause to say we are sad that we lost a searcher, but also let's use, and common sense is not as common as we want that to be. But anyway, what do you say, Cynthia? Wrap it up for the night.
My thing, the profound statement that I would like to make regarding safety is don't be a dumbass.
Yeah, but when somebody's just lost their family, I know what you're saying.
Well, that's still my quote.
Okay.
You have to think about your safety, and it's not just you in that guy's case, and probably for most of you, it's not just you that your death affects.
Right.
You got to think about your family and everybody else, so that if you do something stupid and you die over it, it's not just you. It's going to affect a lot of other people. And
well,
you really do need to be smart.
And I want to add to that, if you care about Forrest, when a searcher passes, I don't think a lot of people know how heavy it affects him. One of the questions, and you'll see it eventually, I asked him, and you were there, Cynthia, would he do this this whole treasure hunt again? And he said no. And it made me go, and he said, because of the searcher deaths, that's the one thing he did not anticipate. And that was shocking to me. That was enough to him, even if it's not his fault, etc. But every time a searcher passes, he is going to have press on him. He's going to have people blaming him. He's going to have haters. He's going to have trolls. They are going to kick up. I've already gotten them, and I'm only a tuber. And a tuber is responsible for deaths. So the only thing I would say is, yeah, I don't know. Richard McKeever says, don't go where an 80-year-old man couldn't go. That's the hard part. I've heard so many searchers say, but he was a maverick. He was superhuman. He was godlike. And they don't say it that way. They say he was Forrest Fenn. I might agree with you, but here's the thing. Me, 80 pounds, 90 pounds heavier. He told me I could go out. Don't think of Forrest Fenn when you think, don't go where an 80, go where an overweight single mom that needs, there's no dad. So there's kids in the picture that need their mom. Go where there would be no risk at all. I almost want to put it in different terms nowadays. So go where they call it the lone parent rather than the single parent, where you don't have a second person. Go where the lone parent would go. That's what I say. So anyway, that's what I say. But even though some of you say I don't blame Forrest, some do. The press does. This is going to be a strain on him. The press hasn't picked it up as a searcher yet. When they do, there's going to be stress on Forrest. I guarantee it, even though we've had no communication about that yet. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. And they're not even worth that. And all that tonight, some people are like, no, you shouldn't take a train. No, you shouldn't do that. It's just something to chew on, think about. This is the good part. Rule out everything I said. Just do what's right for you. Do what's right. Don't, do tell someone, don't tell someone. Have a search partner, don't have a search partner. I mean, mine is obviously no one. I'm just here when Cynthia and Mike get together as search partners. And then I'm just here for the ride. And I get a frog and I get to do some PR stuff, which I'm excited about. So anyway, have some fun, guys. Just be nice to each other. Be kind to each other. Marathon on Saturday. We'll see if Mike gets up to date. He's having lots of issues out in Vegas, where Cynthia will be, but I will be in North Carolina. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But right now, it's a challenging time. So I'm up, I'm down, I'm everywhere. But that's me. So anyway, have fun, you guys. We're off for the night. Cynthia, any final words?
Oh, thank you for having me on your show.
Yes.
It was fun.
She's always great.
And I was not drunk this time.
Oh, I had a drink or two. Okay. Bye, guys. Have fun. Be safe.